What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Ray, aka the Superman Lover. And I'm here with my boy, Dan, aka Dapper Dan, aka Dirty Dan. He's at Value in Time on Twitter. Dan, what's up, my man?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Ray? Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. And we're going to be talking about NFTs today. We'll give you guys kind of a brief overview of what NFT is and the projects that me and Dan are excited about. Let's jump into it. So what's an NFT? NFT is a non-fungible token. It's a unit of data that's stored on a digital ledger, aka blockchain, that certifies a digital asset to be unique and therefore not interchangeable. NFTs are tracked on the blockchain to provide the owner with a proof of ownership. Like I always say, and Dan, you're probably a bit more technically versed than myself. Um, it's good to know the technicals behind it, but we're investors first and foremost.
Right.
So, but
Exactly.
yeah, but a good brief overview. Now let's go into it. I guess this was really the NFT that really kicked off this whole craze, Dan, the NBA Top Shots. You wanna tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, definitely. This was the first ease of use NFT. So, I don't know if you see with the art collectibles, which we'll touch on later on, you have to go on OpenSea, open a MetaMask account. You have to go through a whole trivial process to get exposure to the NFTs. But what Top Shot did, which was genius, was all you have to do is sign up, get an account, and attach your debit card on, and you're good to go.
Yeah, yeah. So really, the ease of use, probably just for your everyday person, right? Was it really broke that barrier, which I know is a big concern. I think for like a lot of people, or what would you say, Dan? Like a counterpoint to crypto. People say like, oh, well, you got to set up a wallet, you got to have a key, et cetera, et cetera. Top Shots uh, really cut down on all of that, made it really simple to deposit. Now withdrawing is another another case. Still waiting on my money, but what are you gonna do? Dan, what do you think about we got a few points up here on the PowerPoint. What do you think about like the Top Shots? Now they're not. It's not just a picture of the player, right? Like a traditional trading card. This is a highlight, a moment. What do you think about that versus just like the picture? Is that a positive or we don't know yet?
I think it's a positive. I think it's smart because the collectibles market as a whole, people invest in collectibles, physical cards, the Topps cards, the PSA cards. What Top Shots has the ability to do now is with everything going digital is to start a new paradigm. For the
Yeah,
next 20, 30 years, what's to say that we're only going to invest in, collectibles as far as like a physical moment when now they have the opportunity to buy a video clip and it is an original NFT one of one. So I think it's awesome.
yeah, yeah. So we put our bull and our bear cases for Top Shots. Bull case, league adoption, right? I think we both agree that the NBA being a part of this, the NBA really advertising and pushing this hard is obviously a big thing. I mean, this is a one of the most popular sports leagues, $1 billion corporation. The popularity of the physical card market, to your point, that we're going digital. This could be a different paradigm that we're in now, so it makes sense for this market to go online. And I think I heard Gary V, or maybe it was Patrick Bet David was talking about, right? So for you to sell your cards previously, Dan, we would have to go to conventions, or we meet
Right.
up with a guy online, and this makes transferring these cards and selling these cards the ease of use. So I think that's a huge point to it. And then another point for me, which I was seeing, a lot of the people who I look to as sharp people, either from the poker world, either from DFS, sports betting world. I saw all of them were on this. And so a lot of people I respect. So, in my opinion, all these factors lining up is like, all right, I want to be a part of this. Do you have anything to add, Dan, to the bull cases?
Definitely just that we could see a lot more traction where Top Shots is at now.
Mm-hmm.
I think once the China market is, a huge, 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 huge component of the NBA.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that even they're on this stuff yet, right?
Yeah.
So even though like we're past at the current moment of the state of Top Shots, we're past the initial, like Twitter exposure and blow up, and we're currently in like a small bear market. I don't see how this doesn't continue on as long as everything with NFT stays consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, that's a good point you bring in with China. And that's actually something I haven't even thought about. It's a good point. Now to the bear case. And just from our personal conversations, I've been a little bit tilted by this at time. Just the platform issues. Now, I could definitely be too critical here, Dan. I guess it's more of me talking from the user standpoint and like putting myself, like taking my investing brain away from it just as a user. It's very frustrating. I mean, both of us have been waiting for withdrawals for a number of weeks now. I mean, past a month. A lot of times the pack drops have crashed, but the site is also in beta. Am I being too critical of this team? It does worry me a little bit that like if this project was to fail, Dan, I think that could be maybe a reason is the development, um, the user experience, just that whole realm. What do you think?
Right. I don't think so. I don't think so, bro. I really don't, because it's the budget that they have with the NBA. A lot of the things that transpired have hurt the morale of the market and like just the emotion of everybody that's using the platform, which could cause more withdrawals of people to exit. I definitely think it's been handled poorly,
Yeah,
and you see that sentiment across the board with even like their own influencers. I think
yeah,
you mentioned, right, Ray.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you're out of line at all. They like to think that, how long have you been waiting now for like withdrawal? Like,
Well, I think we're on 6 weeks. I think.
yeah, and you've had an account for so long, you're clearly not a bot for
Yeah,
like right.
yeah, yeah. So we hope they get these issues fixed. It's just we're not going into any of these things just full blown bull. Um, but we'll see. I know there's a possibility I'm being too critical. We're being too critical because we're not the developers. But we'll see where this how's this transgress. Third party collectibles. We saw Dame Lillard come out with his own NFT collections. We're seeing some NFL players making the NFTs themselves and not going through the league. Could this hurt the Top Shot market?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I guess not too much else to add there, but um, yeah, is that about it, Dan? You think people would rather just go to the player?
I mean, it's hard to tell because with like football, so you see Patrick Mahomes dropping his own NFTs.
Yeah,
So, depending on the price, the people that bought those like directly through the athlete,
yeah.
I don't know what their confidence would be to go, if they're buying it from the direct source, why would they go to another, you know what I'm trying to say?
It could be, yeah. I mean, it could maybe like okay, both could succeed, right? But it undercuts the market a bit, right?
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Yeah, right, right. Now this last point we put a question mark because we're not too sure about it. The waning popularity of viewership of sports in general. So it's not just NBA. I know viewership for all of sports is going down, but to counterpoint that, right? Because we couldn't even counterpoint this, is that like fantasy sports, gambling, et cetera, the gamification around sports is at all time highs. So do you see maybe I don't know that I'm unsure of it because I think the gaming is what's going to actually maybe bring a resurgence of popularity if there's even popularity's wane. But I guess what do you think about this point, Dan? Could this be a concern that like maybe like 5-10 years from now, we're not as enthralled by sports as we once were?
I think it's something to keep in mind, but I don't believe it's going to be me, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be something long term. We have had the lowest ratings in a long time, but that's because, not to get political, but a lot of stuff that happened, in
Yeah.
in the sports leagues that led to a lot of controversy, just to say the least.
Yeah.
And the pandemic obviously has taken a toll on the sports leagues. But long term, I don't see how people don't, dive into sports like they always have.
Yeah. The more we're like talking this out loud, I actually think that's probably a bull case. So um, I
Right.
think we're both still, while we have some concerns about Top Shop, I would still say we're both still bullish on it. I mean, we're still involved in the market. We're limiting some of our exposure, but we're still in there mixing it up. All right, let's go on to our next topic. Vive, the Vive app. I would say, Dan, this is probably our most bullish NFT. Would you say so?
Yeah, so Vive is similar to Top Shots. It was the first platform to add ease of use through a app. So instead of a web page like Top Shots, you can download this app through your app store, whether you have Android or iPhone. And it also allows you, just like Top Shots, to purchase through a debit card with gems. So you buy with your card their little form of currency, and then you can purchase the collectibles that are on the marketplace or
Yeah.
the app.
Yep. And the licensing includes, as we have on the screen there, DC Comics, Universal Studios, Cartoon Network, and many more. Those are just like really like the big ones highlighted. I know they got Jurassic Park upcoming. So and to me, I think the neat part, and I could definitely be biased here, the augmented reality portion of it. So on the app, for people who are not familiar, they're interactable. Like you can take pictures with these NFTs that you buy, and I've seen the fun that kids have with it. I have a son, and he loves it. He loves going into the showroom, taking pictures, et cetera, et cetera. You can have a lot of fun with these things. So I think from once again, coming from like a user experience, I think it's enjoyable. And so that's one of the bull cases. Another one for me, Dan, is the niche collectible communities that this hits. I think especially with the comics, and you're the one who brought it to my attention. You were like, you pretty much forced me. You bought Batman's for me. You're like no, I'm gonna buy the Batman's for you, and I'm giving it to you because I'm like, oh, I'm busy with different stuff. But
Yeah, well, when you
yeah,
trade in equities throughout the week, someone comes up to you talking about Batman's, digital Batman's at first. You're like, dude, I'm over here trying to short,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I'm
But
over here shorting for America. All these Chinese scams. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I don't got time for
So I
Batman.
just,
Yeah, but no, but
yeah,
I love, uh, but yeah, I love Batman. No, and once that you brought this to my attention, and I really like gave it the time it deserved. I mean, what other niche community is there that loves collectibles more than comic fans?
I
I
mean, these
I'm
guys,
not sure. Maybe
these
there's one I'm missing.
no, these guys have conventions, Comic Cons, meetups.
Yeah,
You know, they
yeah.
dress up. Yeah, no.
So I mean, to me, I was like, wow, okay, like, and it's fun to use. These guys are, this is a collectible community, especially like the comic. Me, I'm speaking to the comic part. So I was like, wow, like this is what I want. I want exposure in this. And as we've seen, like the flip now, their marketplace is not open, but I know you're grinding. This man's grinding every edge on the discords. Um, yeah, they're selling on third party marketplaces or whatever the case you're doing, and you could speak to that, Dan, if you want to. But they've already been flipping for, I don't know what the ROIs you're getting, but I know you're getting some really nice hefty ROIs.
Yeah, it's doing very well, and I do think this is the floor as well, as far as for the app, because I forgot to mention this earlier. A big thing with these NFTs, the fungible tokens, is the licensing, right? Because um, there's a ton of collectibles out there, but what's going to give you like the protection of the value being stored long term is an official licensings with a platform like DC Universe or Universal Studios
Mm-hmm.
or the NBA or the NFL. So the VIVE app was the first one to get it from DC Comics as well. So they have different collectibles with different artists. So, for example, one of the biggest artists, his name is Todd McFarlane. If anyone listening has ever heard of him,
Hmm.
and he has over 600,000 followers on Twitter, and he was the co-writer of Venom, and he also invented Swarm. So
Yeah.
these guys are OGs on the platform, and now their first digital collectibles are being sold on these apps.
Yeah. 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 No, because especially right, like McFarlane, like this guy is highly respected, award-winning artist. Yeah, so we were both all in, and as you see, that's our bear case. We didn't buy enough Batmans. Like that's the only thing we could come up with. I'm like, I don't like, and we could just be full blown. We talk about this all the time. We try and like check each other, but like we're just full blown bulls, and maybe that's our bias. But what are you gonna do? And then the other bull case, we said the unit interface, and I think that's why we're part of the reasons why we're more bullish on this than Top Shots is the user experience is way better. I think they
Right.
seem to way more organized. The app works more efficient. Now, do they still have some of their problems? Like, you can't get it. I remember I couldn't get what was the last drop? The DeLoreans.
Yeah.
But there was a little issues there, but not really. What are you gonna do? Moving on. Zed Horse Racing. Now, this could definitely, I'm preface this could definitely just be my degeneracy um, tendencies here, but this one gets me excited. Zed is a provably fair digital horse racing game built on the blockchain. You can breed the horses. You have four different bloodlines. There's prize pools. This is very hands on. I mean, this is a game. There's strategy. There's people are forming teams. Dan, having stables. I know that's something where um, maybe in the process of forming, but there's a lot going on right now. What are your just general thoughts towards Zed?
So this is your area, but I mean, I see that gambling is being legalized online,
Yeah,
and casinos are million-dollar, billion-dollar industries. So this only makes sense to me as well. Horse racing, especially being here in Palm Beach.
yeah,
We have the track right down the road,
yep,
so you know, it doesn't surprise me at all, and I'm definitely bullish on it as well.
yeah, yeah. I just think the popularity of gaming, um, yeah, for sure in general. I guess the bull case is it's fun. I mean, it really is. I mean, we we was over, he was over the house the other day. I mean, we're sitting here drinking, just watching the horses run. It's like I don't know. It's fun and it's hands on. That's our bull case. Bear case. I mean, we're racing. It's just freaking digital horses for money. It's how much more degenerate does it get? I don't know. I know this is like perfect for my niche, and it totally could be blindsided here, like blind
Well,
bias.
I've seen some pretty big some pretty big exposure online, at least in the Twitter community.
It's selling for six figures. Some of
Some
the horses sold for
yeah,
6 figures. Yeah,
some large parties supporting this project as well.
yeah, yeah. But I guess to the point, Dan, we're talking about everything moving more digital, like store of money's becoming digital, currencies, et cetera, et cetera. Like the
Images, yeah, art.
yeah, images, artwork. It seems like the pandemic's really spurred this on even more. Why not horse racing? Horse racing is popular in real life. The Triple Crown Kentucky Derby. I mean, I know me growing up. I mean, I have such a big bias, but I grew up going to the racetrack. And it's a fun experience.
Right.
So why wouldn't it translate to online? I guess we'll see. So I'm aware of my biases here, but I still want to have some exposure and just once again from the user experience. This is very fun. Um, and I think they've done a great job with this project. All right, moving on. Another one I am really bullish on. Decentraland. Shout out to Mana. As we're recording this, Mana is pumping heavy. Let's go. Fill the bags up, baby. This is the first fully decentralized world. It's, when we were trying to come up with comparisons, this is what me and Dan came up with. It's very reminiscent of us to like Roblox, Sims, Minecraft, RPG or role player. role player game. That's what it stands for, right, Dan? RPG.
Yeah, role playing. It almost gave me like almost like reminiscence of like when I used to play RuneScape growing up.
RuneScape.
If any of
Yeah.
you guys, yeah, because of the mining.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just an open world, fully customizable. You can buy land. You can buy. I haven't explored all of it, but once again, me being a father, had my son test it out. Let's see what he thinks, because he loves all this Roblox, Sims, Minecraft, and how these things also they span age groups. Dan, right? So my son loves Roblox, but also teenagers love Roblox. Adults
Mhm.
probably love Roblox, Minecraft, all these things. It doesn't just appeal to just kids or just adults. It's wide ranging, and I could see that with Decentraland as well. For me, too, Dan, like this, I'm bullish on gaming and the future of gaming. I think that's probably a hard one to counterpoint, that gaming is not going to continue to grow, esports, et cetera, all that stuff. Um, so this is part of me having not only a piece of like gaming and its popularity, but I also think crypto as well. I think the marriage of the two is a beautiful thing, and hopefully it'll be fruitful for my pockets. What do you think?
I mean, I'm looking at the price of Anna's coin today. I believe that's already proven for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm good regardless of, even if this project fails. I think I'm good there, but hopefully it continues to grow. I think the team as well is really good. They're
Yeah,
very
I'm
organized. They have good funding. We're in their Discord channel.
right. Yeah, I
It's
was
really
going to
hard,
mention that.
really hard to knock them. They run events inside the world, right? They have concerts.
Yeah, you've seen some large artists perform live in there in like a virtual world, similar to Fortnite. When Fortnite was having its, during the pandemic, its live concerts with like Marshmello.
Yeah,
They're doing about the same thing. And one thing I wanted to point out too before you get into the bear cases is they're interchanging the NFT space, like the art, because you can buy like a piece of land, you can have a house, you can have a parcel. It's called a parcel, and you can hang up your art and use your NFTs from that you buy off of like the marketplace, which we're going to cover next.
hmm,
You can actually use those NFTs in the world, regardless of where you purchase them. You can transfer them, and they're open source to use inside of the central land.
yeah. No, that's awesome. We love it. Bear cases, competition. You probably know a little bit more than mine because you brought it to my attention about potentially some of their competition maybe coming in, undercutting the market a bit. I know what was the coin? It's Sandbox.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
Sandbox is a project that works with Animoca Brands, which is a parent company, not a parent company, but they work hand in hand right next to Flow. So, they're really well connected as well in the industry. The sand is nowhere near on the level of, like development of Decentraland as far as like users,
Yeah.
but there is projects that have the same idea,
Right.
of Decentraland where, okay, we're going to come in, create a, decentralized world where people can come in, spend their money and use the platform. So there is risk of competition from at a large scale, with
Yeah.
all the tech companies, in the industry.
Right. I know that was a concern you brought up to me. Was this competition bit, whether it's someone, maybe a large player coming in and wanting to develop something similar, or maybe Sandbox catching up, because as we've seen in the past, there's been being first to market is not always an advantage. Sometimes it is, right? Like being in
Most
there,
of the
being the
time.
first one. Yeah, most of the times it is, but sometimes the second guy coming in and learning from your mistakes is a good
Agreed.
thing. But I
Correct.
think
Right.
all in all, we're still very bullish on Decentraland and where they're at. Because like you said, a lot of people have a lot of catching up to do to where they're at already. And I guess the only other bear case is really adoption. We Where it's at now. Is there users? Yeah. Is the land starting to get really expensive and these other things? Hell yeah, they are. Um, but I guess the only thing that would stop this from succeeding, Dan, is just people not embracing it and playing the game.
Yeah, and I think it's a little hard to use right now too, just because you have to go through MetaMask,
Okay.
right? So you would have to buy stuff. You have to be able to purchase Ethereum. So it's like, it's the ease of use for like the retail market. Like the other platforms, they got that problem out of the way. But with Decentraland, still has that block where if you want to buy anything in game, if you want to, even make an account, you have to at least be able to know how to download MetaMask, send
Yeah.
Ethereum to there, and use it inside a game
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
any of the other wallets.
Hmm. I think the neat thing, and these things are going to take some time. I'm imagining all these things we're talking about, but targeting the gamer, right? I think especially like seeing someone like my son Dan,
Right,
right? And
right,
you know him too, right? Like as he gets older, like him setting up all this is not going to be anything, right?
right. Yeah,
As we get the younger generation who is familiar with technology, familiar with gaming, et cetera, et cetera, I don't think that's going to be a barrier no longer. But it's going to take some time, right? Like for us to get to that point. At least that's my theory. You think that might hold true?
yeah. I think that's true.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Artwork? Question mark. That's
What's up with
my
the bird?
that's my bit bird in the back. Shout out to him. This is one of our digital art collectibles. I'm pretty sure probably most of the people listening to this are familiar with this. They've seen Beeple. What did it sell for? 69 million or whatever. One of his artworks.
Just slightly. Yeah, I believe around there.
Yeah, yeah. You're seeing CryptoPunks is probably the most famous one out there, selling for lots of money. I don't know if they're up in the six figures yet, for what the punks are selling. You're seeing some artists, music artists, selling their albums as NFTs. So it's interesting. We think if there's a market for physical art, why wouldn't there be a market for digital art? Dan, I don't know. This one is kind of, I think, the hardest for me to kind of like prognosticate. I think that's why we put a question mark. I guess I'll let you speak. What do you think?
Right. I think it's definitely the most dangerous and risky form of exposure. And to your point, right? So you can put a song. You saw some artists, just to like touch up on what you said. You saw some artists, The Weekend release their tracks as NFTs, and then Kings of Leon and a couple famous EDM artists also releasing their tracks as NFTs. Um, I think you mentioned this to me yesterday as well when we were talking about it. Just jumping into the bear case, right? There's a lot of what, like, say, scam projects similar to equities. You're saying
Yeah.
so?
Yeah,
Maybe you
money
want to
grab.
touch up.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is like people are just doing this for money grabs. Just like just like people set up companies, just to dump all the shares on the retail, right? Like just get in and out. Like we don't plan on having an actual company and building this up. This is just a money grab. And so yeah, you see similar things with a lot of these artwork projects. People are seeing how much these things are selling for. Everyone's rushing. I mean, just look at the Bitbirds alone, Dan, and how many people have forked off of the Bitberg project? Like they like this bit digital art,
right.
there's
Maybe
digital snakes,
did you
etc.
want to did you want to touch up on, just so the listener knows, like, what exactly was like the Bitbird project? Like what happened?
Yeah, well, I once again, I mean, I think like a lot of me getting into the NFT space is from the people I respect and the people I follow who I know are sharp bettors, right? And a
Mm,
lot of them come from poker, betting, DFS industries, and I seen they was involved with this, and I thought the birds look funny. Like just looking at this bird right now cracks me. I don't know, it's just funny. Like what it like. There's something about the bird. I don't know what it is. I guess that's why people like the crypto punks too. I thought this was one worth grabbing a few birds, and like, hey, maybe in a couple years these things increase in value because there is a limited supply. So I like that part of it, right? Like the whole I think that's like almost like a foundation of crypto. I'm really looking for things with fixed supply, right? It's just mathematical, it makes sense.
mm.
So that's how I came across like the birds. It's probably the only exposure I think I have to, I guess we would say, like collect or art, I guess.
Right. And then was that because you mentioned that the other projects started coming out, didn't so what, they left their didn't they leave, I believe they left their source code like
Yeah.
free, like for the people?
Yeah, so a lot of people kind of built off the source code of this project and making other animals, other bit animals.
Uh
Like so, I've seen a lot of that. So at least I like that. Like, right, I think that's a good case for the birds is that people are using its source code. So we'll see. This is, like we preface, this is speculative. But I think if anything, this is like ground floor. So I think the risk is so small anyway.
Right.
It's worth taking some flyers on some of these things.
One thing, real quick, Ray, I've been seeing too, that this gives the opportunity for new artists. And tell me what you think about this, Ray.
Mhm.
Similar to how, there's premier artists in the physical art and
Yeah.
like, collective world, premier artists, all over the world, Europe, international famous artists. Um, I believe this gives the opportunity, and a lot of people agree with this point online. It's just a sentiment that now there's virtual artists, there's
Yeah.
famous virtual artists, and there's an entire new industry of graphic designers,
Yep.
and people creating premiere and like pristine digital art. What do you think about that?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think that's a great bull case.
Yeah.
I, no, it is. It gives opportunity to artists that otherwise would not get seen, right? Like I'm not highly in tune with how the physical art market works, but I know like Christie's holds auctions. Like I imagine not anyone can just like, hey, like I'm going to Christie's, here's my like painting I did, right? You can do that things yourself now as artists. It gives artists more opportunity to like, hey, let me put this out to the world. If the world likes it, I'm going to make money and I'm going to get noticed. And so yeah, I think it gives people more of an opportunity, like artists themselves. And to your point as well, as yeah, I think this digital art thing, I think there's something there to it, and it creates a new type of art which wasn't previously existed before the internet.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, so we'll give viewers our final thoughts. Most projects will fail. I think that's pretty much a given. I mean, especially when you have these popularity, of any markets. I mean, are we in a bubble? There's probably a great chance we are. Everyone wants a piece of this money. I mean, Dan, where else do you get the type of ROIs where you buy something and then immediately, once everything's sold out, your ROI is like 300%?
Only 300.
Yeah, no, right. And I'm lowballing it. I don't know. It almost sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me. Like a
In
pyramid
all
scheme or
seriousness,
whatever.
yeah, right,
No,
of course,
no.
of
But
course.
so I say that to say that most projects will fail, and we're aware of this going into
Right.
it, right? So as always, proper risk management. I think that goes without saying. Don't ever gamble with more money than you're willing to lose. Even if this is a bubble, me and Dan are speculating the risk is still low. I mean, this is probably pretty close to the ground floor. I mean, even if these birds um, don't do anything, even if Topshots fails, et cetera, we're still good. We're not. I don't think we're losing any money here. Just so be careful. And I think we believe blockchain and NFTs are here to stay, even with the amount of projects that are going to fail. I think there's going to be some that are going to succeed and succeed in a big way. Final thoughts, Dan?
I I think just to touch up on everything you said on this last point, blockchain and NFTs, the non-fungible tokens, regardless if it's for trading or buying, the technology is here to stay. So blockchain as a verification method will be here to stay in the long run. Whether it's business application, trading, currency, it's here to stay. And the fungible tokens are a branch off of blockchain and run on a blockchain. So they will also be here to stay. The use case of an NFT will be here to stay probably for the rest of our lifetimes. So you can take the listeners can take that how they want it, but that's probably a valid point if I
Yep.
had any to make to
Yep.
close.
Yep. Dan, my man, I appreciate you joining me, giving the listeners some of your NFT knowledge. Make sure you follow this guy on Twitter at Value in Time. A lot of the thoughts and information I get from the NFTs are from him. He's in the streets grinding. He's in 20 different discords. He's doing his thing. Dan, I appreciate you for joining me, man.
Anytime, brother. Make sure you take those Dogecoin attendees you have from this week and spend them wisely.
Shout out to Dogecoin. Hopefully, Mana's still pumping.
Right.
Check this out. Much love, everybody. Use stops, all that good stuff. Peace.